Greetings all! Today, we will be examining the uncommon water-type Pokemon Seel and its water-ice type relatively rare evolution Dewgong, collectively known as the Sea Lion Pokémon. While they might not be the most combat-efficient creatures of their type out there, the members of the Seel family are still fun-loving members of the subfamily Otorinae that can make good companions for those that are able to brave the chilly waters they call home. Seel possess tube-like bodies with a two-part split tail with a fin-like form that is used as their primary source of power for locomotion, though its form is not well adapted for speed and instead lends itself to better steering control in the water. Their front appendages possess 3 thick fingers they use primarily for walking around on land, though their overall form is poorly suited for the task, and their head is fairly round in shape, with beige lips, a small black nose, blue eyes, and a set of prominent protruding lower fangs used mainly for crushing fish before they are eaten. Their face is slightly compressed in the front, which results in their tongue hanging out of their mouth on a nearly constant basis, though this seems to only serve to make them look adorable rather than hurting them. Their bodies are packed with a thick layer of fat that helps to store thermal energy internally for long episodes of swimming and diving, and insulates them against cold temperatures, and they are almost completely covered in light blue fur, including the thick horn of bone that protrudes from the tops of their skulls. Their evolved form, Dewgong, have a similar body shape but are much more streamlined in their form, with their tail fin fusing together into a single structure better adapted for fast swimming, and their front appendages turning into fins as well to further facilitate enhanced swimming abilities. Their eyes have turned a brownish color in evolution, and their lower fangs have decreased in size dramatically, with their upper canines instead becoming so large that they constantly protrude out of their mouths as an adaptation to lunging attacks against prey when swimming underwater. Moreover, their fur has turned a snow-white color, which helps to hide them from potential predators out on icebergs, especially when in the midst of a blizzard. The members of the Seel family are some of the few Pokemon that are almost dominantly found in cold ocean waters, particularly at the poles, and in turn are fairly rare to see outside of extremely cold aquatic habitats such as the seafoam islands of the Kanto region. Unlike many other mammals, these creatures thrive in cold waters, preferring to live where the water temperature at a maximum is 14 degrees Fahrenheit and being able to survive in temperatures as low as -40 degrees Fahrenheit as a result of their thick hide and blubber. These mammals almost exclusively feed on fish for sustenance, with Pokemon like Wishiwashi being a particular favorite, and they can dive to incredible depths by closing their nostrils when they swim to keep freezing water out of their bodies. However, they will always eventually need to breathe, and since they tend to live in waters that are so cold that they are often frozen over and crowded with icebergs, this would normally be a huge problem. However, this is where the large horn on their heads comes in, as they can use the structure to not only deliver potent headbutt attacks from birth, but also puncture ice to make breathing holes that are large enough to stay open for at least a few minutes before freezing over again. While their general swimming skills vary depending upon what state of evolution in their family is being observed, these beasts are surprisingly strong and can gain access to a number of ice-type moves naturally despite not always being able to make the most of them, granting them a degree of natural diversity that is not always observed in other water-type Pokemon. Their insulating blubber and thick hide, as well as their penchant for living in the water for large periods of time, helps to explain why these creatures gain access to thick fat and hydration as base abilities, while their natural ice-type powers, in the absence of traditional ice-type traits to some degree, can grant them access to Ice Body as a hidden ability. As far as their stats go, in the case of Dewgong, the thick blubber in their body helps to grant them considerable stamina and resistance against energy-based attacks, granting them above-average base HP and special defense stats for fully evolved water and ice-type Pokemon. Unfortunately, everything else is below average, but their early access to powerful ice-type moves can still give them an advantage in battle, as can the fact that few other Pokemon are able to handle the icy temperatures that their bodies are built to be able to resist in the wild. Although the overall structure of their tail fin creates substantial drag and limits the overall movement speeds of seal in the water, with a focus on steering control so they can learn how to properly orient their bodies when chasing prey, they are still graceful swimmers and can hunt effectively enough to make life fairly easy going for them. This is especially so because they can easily hunt beneath ice floes and other forms of frozen seawater where most other predators of their type cannot last for very long. When these creatures are not hunting, they generally sleep and loll about in shallow water and on icebergs where they are safe, as few predators are willing to risk getting stranded on the surface of these ice blocks without any way to get back to solid ground. It was once thought that these creatures only ever lived in icy waters, but recent sightings of them in decently sized populations in places like the Alola region has led to some questioning regarding this claim. While warmer waters are not deadly to these creatures, they do have a habit of overheating their young, blubber-laden bodies, so seal usually get tired more easily in warmer waters. As such, it is still unknown why they have started to migrate towards the equator, though it is likely that this is an isolated case, just like the seafoam islands of the Kanto region, as the creatures can currently only be found in the unusually frigid seaward cave in the Alola region. While they might not be able to make the most of their ice-type powers until after evolution, seal are still playful creatures that are easy to train and fun to play with, so they can make great partners for novice trainers looking to eventually specialize in the ice type. When seal finally evolve into Dewgong, their bodies change substantially, as they not only become more streamlined in their form and their overall bodies change to make them faster swimmers as a whole, but their natural acquisition of ice-type powers in their moves reaches a peak in mastery and effectively grants them more powerful versions of their moves than what seal can harness. The whole of these changes effectively causes them to become partial ice types in terms of the manner in which they deal and take damage, and while this comes with a loss in their playful nature and the loss of the water sport technique learned by seal, they are benefited by instead gaining access to the odd signal beam attack as a result of altered brain chemistry and an altered nervous system, and their full ascension into the ice type grants them access to the devastating sheer cold attack immediately upon evolving. With their thick hide and blubber and streamlined form, Dewgong are able to swim at a constant speed of about 8 knots, no matter how cold the waters around them may be, while at the same time have enough experience from their days as seal to be able to turn on a dime and maneuver through the water with ease. Though they tend to be nocturnal for the most part, sleeping in shallow waters during the day and hunting at night when the frigid temperatures are colder and more to their liking, Dewgong are equal opportunity predators and will go for a meal at any time of the day if they are hungry, typically becoming more active and friskier in this regard the colder the air and water around them becomes. These beasts will generally only come onto icebergs to nap if they are satisfied, and while this is their preferred place of choice for said periods of sleep, they will often come into warmer waters and sunbathe on beaches in places like the Alola region, as the intense warmth helps them to better digest their often chilly food. Interestingly enough, in the past, these creatures were often mistaken for mermaids when seen from a distance, sleeping on icebergs, as a result of their distinct body form. And while this may seem a bit silly, the resemblance can be uncanny if there is snow obstructing one's view, and it is definitely something that can be taken advantage of in battle in the right weather conditions to confuse opponents and attack them when their guard is down. Though they might not be among the most powerful of water or ice-type Pokémon, the members of the seal family are still sturdy creatures that can definitely take a hit and keep on moving. Their natural access to both water and ice-type powers can help to make them decently versatile, and with moves like Headbutt backing them up, they can definitely make an impact in a fight if used properly. If you're looking to add one of these beasts to your collection though, you would best be served in looking among the few locales and warmer climates where they dwell, rather than going to where they are the most common. It might take a bit more effort on your part to do so, but given the freezing conditions of their preferred habitats, it's better to pick them up at a location where the warmth of the air outside is pleasing, instead of a place where you're just as likely to get frostbite as you are to find one of these creatures, with no real form of safety or protection against the cold readily available. Thank you all for watching this video. It is always an honor to be able to speak with you all on the subject of Pokemon in a way that brings me great joy and happiness in my work. If you would like to keep tabs on past and future work, click that subscribe button, check out my work on DeviantArt, and don't be shy about following me on Twitter, where you can find pertinent announcements on upcoming work before it is officially posted. Links to both can be found in the video description. If you would like to support my work and help Miguel and I continue to produce more content for you and improve upon our presentation, please visit us at my Patreon page, which you can also find a link to in the video description.
Yeah, no.
With that, I thank you for watching and I wish you well.